In this video, I'm going to talk you through a checklist that you should use before you submit a CV to a hiring manager. In this video, I'm going to talk you through a checklist that you can use to make sure your CV is looking great before you send it off for any job application. Welcome to the channel. My name is Jane Foray and I am a career coach for frustrated professionals who are ready to take the next step in their career. If you just arrived here, then don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a future video. Remember that when someone looks at your CV for the first time, they are looking at a reflection of you. So you need to make sure that everything is spick and span, correct, with no errors and no mistakes. So use this as a checklist to help you to make sure that your CV is looking perfect and presenting you in the best possible light. So the first point is to choose a style of CV and to be consistent with it. So choose either a functional CV or a chronological CV. And I've got another video all about that, which I will link. Just click on that to find out the difference between the two. The second point is to check whether you have got any gaps in your employment history. So if you have got any gaps, that's not a problem. Make sure that you front that up in your cover letter. In your CV, you can add in sabbatical or career break during that time if you would like. The third point is to check the length of your CV. Now, I'm not a fan of a CV that is anything longer than 2 pages. If you cannot make all your work history fit onto 2 pages, then you need to go and take another look at it. Remember that particularly if you're applying for a job where lots of other people are applying, if everybody submits a 3 or 4 page CV, that's a lot more pages that the hiring manager needs to read through. So take the time to edit your CV down to no more than 2 pages and make sure that those 2 pages are highly relevant for that particular role. The fourth point is don't forget to include your name, your phone number, your email address, and also your LinkedIn profile. If you're including your LinkedIn profile URL, then make sure that your LinkedIn profile matches everything on your CV. I can't tell you the number of times where I've received CVs that have said curriculum vitae at the top, but don't actually mention the person's name at any point during the CV itself. So make sure you've got your name at the top and underneath your phone number, email address, LinkedIn URL. You don't need to put home address on. Nobody is sending you anything in lumpy mail at this point. The fifth point is to make sure that all of your key selling points in relation to this particular role are front and center of the CV. This is why I always recommend that you have a master copy of your CV and then you pull across the achievements that are most relevant for this particular role, which is why you can never have one CV. You need to amend it for each and every role, but what that means is you need to go back and check that everything on there is absolutely correct. Make sure that you're using the right tense. So for your current role, use the current tense, and for past roles, use the past tense. So if you're describing, if you've got one line that's describing what the purpose of your job, then use the present tense. In your past roles, use the past tense. Use short sentences rather than long paragraphs. So I'm a fan of the bullet points when we're talking about achievements. I don't need a whole sentence. I am probably scanning it. As a hiring manager, I am scanning your CV and I want your achievements to pop. I don't want to have to wade through a whole load of information to figure out exactly what it is you're trying to tell me. So use bullet points and short, punchy language. Think about reflecting the words of the job description or the job advert in your CV. So if you are in a project management kind of role, but the organization uses the word program management, then think about just changing your wording slightly so that you reflect the words of the organization. The same is something like human resources. So are you a HR business partner? Are you people business partner? Just read the advert carefully and reflect their language in your CV and your cover letter. Let's talk about abbreviations. So would the person reading your CV understand any abbreviations that you have used? So abbreviations like HR are kind of universal. People would understand what those are. But if you're using something like CIPD, for example, not everybody would know what that is. So the very first time that you use an abbreviation or an acronym, make sure that you put what it is in full, in brackets, after that abbreviation the very first time you use it. From then on, you can continue to use the abbreviation, but don't assume that the person reading your CV will understand every single abbreviation in there. Let's talk font. So make sure that you are using one font throughout your whole CV. There is nothing more off-putting than jumping from different fonts as you move through, because then it just looks like a copy and paste job. Great fonts for CVs are the traditional ones such as Calibri and Arial. Stick with those, you'll be absolutely fine. Think about the size of your font. Now, I've seen a number of CVs that have reduced the font to such a small size that I can't really read what's in there. They've also pushed the margins out so far that there's very little white space. Again, if your CV is hard to read, I'm probably going to put it on the no pile. So in terms of things like headings, make sure that they're no smaller than 11 font size, point size. And for main text, make sure it is no smaller than 10. Make sure as well that you've got lots of white space on your horizontal and your vertical margins. If you've got to make the font size smaller and the margins smaller so that you can squeeze everything in, what you need to do is you need to go back and edit and remove some stuff. The final point is to proofread your CV. Now if this isn't a strength of yours, then get a friend to do this for you. And you know what? That's not a bad idea anyway, because what you get is fresh eyes looking over your stuff. But check things like spelling, grammar, punctuation. Is it correct? Are you spelling things in American English or British English? It's easy to miss errors, particularly when you've been working long and hard on your CV. So do spend the time to get somebody who's a great proofreader to just give it the once over, just to make sure that there are no errors that are hiding in there that you might have missed. So that's it then. That's a checklist to just go through whenever you have produced a CV. Remember, I'm not a fan of one CV for everything. You need to produce one CV that is specific for each and every job application. But of course, the probability that you might be making an error is of course stronger. So always get someone to read through that and use this video as a checklist to just make sure that your CV is selling you in the best possible way. So if you found this useful, then please do click on that like button, share this video with anybody you feel would get value from it, and please like and subscribe for future updates. My name is Jane Foray, career coach for frustrated professionals. I'll see you on the next video.